down. One of the most annoying things to me in life is when someone thinks that they have me figured out, or they think that they can categorize me or pigeonhole me. I hate that, okay? No, you can't. You don't know me. You literally are not even close to knowing me. I actually have so many sides to me that like I can't even keep up sometimes. I take pride in that. Hey guys, I'm Raquel Olson. Welcome to my channel and the mothership. So I am so excited to do this video today because the knowledge is holy. So being a creator over the past 3 years, I've been asked so many questions, from manipulation to dating advice to procrastination. But the one question that keeps popping up, like above all, is how to be confident. It's like a very broad thing and there's so much to cover. So I'm actually going to talk about a specific lens on confidence today. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about this going around, and it's how to be charismatic, magnetic, alluring, mesmerizing, etc., etc. Basically, how to have riz. And I want to give my perspective on it and actually take it just a notch higher, if you will. I want to add the adjective regal, but not in the sense that you probably think. I don't mean like, oh, thinking that I am literal royalty or that I am better than everybody and I'm like snotty or snoot. That is not the interpretation I'm talking about. I'm talking about having a strong sense of self and knowing what your value is. In other words, being a person of high value, being a king or a queen in your own right. So ever since I was in middle school, my friends have said that I have this regal vibe. And I didn't know it at the time growing up, but I think it really, what they were talking about was my sense of self, my strong sense of self. And as far back as I can remember, I feel like I was born with this sense of self. So I want to talk about all of the above, plus how to be regal. So first of all, let's touch quickly on what being magnetic means and what being charismatic means. Being magnetic is about your energetic pull. It's really about the energy that you radiate. Literally on a scientific level, it's the electromagnetic waves that you give off. And so it's about being able to draw people in. And then there's charisma, the ability to be charismatic, which is your ability to charm and influence those around you. Charisma is about your relationship with yourself and how you relate and interact with other people. And that kind of symbiotic relationship, because people will look at you for cues on how to treat you based on what kind of relationship they sense you have with yourself. Now, are you ready? Like, this is the debut of my first official motherbot mindset. And this is truly something that I hold very sacred to my heart and very sacred to myself. And I've never really shared this publicly. This is what I call the mind palace. Okay, so I love Sherlock Holmes. My cat's name is literally Dr. Watson. And I love Sherlock Holmes because I just love the way his mind works. He can pick up on all these little clues and he stores them all in his brain, and he's able to, solve these incredibly intricate mysteries. And he has a technique called the memory palace technique, which is a mnemonic technique. It's a way to organize information in your mind in a visual way, where you visualize a physical space in your imagination, and you can picture yourself walking through this space and organizing your thoughts, information, little details and memories in different rooms so that it's easier to recall whenever you need. I'm just obsessed with that whole concept. I think that's brilliant. So this inspired my concept, the mind palace. So I want you to picture in your mind your ideal dream palace. This can be a holographic palace in the heavens or the skies, or it can be this, amazing golden palace in the forest, or a dark palace by the sea, or whatever your vibe is, okay? And this is where all your thoughts that are worthy, keyword worthy, of living in your palace are. Now, and it's not only just thoughts, okay? It's your mantras, your values, what you believe to be important in life, your goals, your sense of purpose, the things that are meant to be sacred to you. They live in this sacred palace of yours, and they are organized to a T. So think of this palace as a way for you to get to know yourself. This is the point of having your palace, being able to know yourself and to organize all of those important things in your life in a beautiful, pristine manner. In other words, Regal. I want you to walk through it with pride and to understand all the nooks and crannies, to know exactly where everything is, and also to continue to evolve and build this palace. Now, speaking of building, the building blocks of your palace are your boundaries. These are like the bricks. Having these boundaries is what creates the infrastructure, because without these boundaries, it's going to be hard to upkeep and to protect all of these sacred things within your palace. Understanding your boundaries is what's going to make you actually really, truly understand yourself in a very practical sense, or else you are always gonna kind of feel lost, and your palace will be easier to kind of crumble potentially, which we don't want. And then you're gonna have to like rebuild it time and time again. So it's not gonna be like a very strong palace. Looking back on my life, like it's crazy how many lives I've lived. Like I've lived so many chapters, it's honestly hard to describe to you. And I'm sure I'll have, stories to tell, but it was because I didn't have boundaries, and I did have many adventures because of that, but I do look back and kind of regret certain situations that I put myself in because I just didn't know better at the time, and it's because I didn't have strong boundaries. And it also kind of made me more of a people pleaser, also because of like the environment that I grew up in, like the school I went to, and maybe a little bit dash of trauma in there. And I also grew up with this like good girl mindset. Make sure that you are picky about what thoughts, what energies, and what people you let in to your palace. Anyways, so the whole point that I'm talking about now is that, knowing your mind palace, people, when they meet you, they will be able to sense that you kind of have this inner structure and you are indestructible, and they're going to be fascinated by the fact that you know your inner workings and your values and your mantras so well, and they're going to treat you, in a regal manner, because they're going to feel like you have your own sense of value and your own system going on, and they're going to be fascinated to understand and learn. And if they vibe with it, they're going to want to almost like follow you, So it's a very magnetic, drawing energy to kind of feel that somebody has this intricate inner world. Now, for my next point, it's the concept of duality. Okay, now duality is the idea that everything has balance to it, and that there are two parts, not just like two black and white parts. It can be that way, it can be seen that way, but it's just the idea that things are in balance. There's yin and yang, and there's a spectrum in between. This touches on the concept of having an alter ego, multiple alter egos, having multiple selves. Basically, that we contain multitudes, and taking advantage of that, because that is so magnetic and interesting. It's fascinating, and it's unpredictable. And when you are unpredictable and you have contrasting, kind of like contradictory aspects to yourself, people are fascinated by that. They want to learn more, and they'll never be able to pin you down. One of the most annoying things to me in life is when someone thinks that they have me figured out, or they think that they can categorize me or pigeonhole me. I hate that, okay? No, you can't. You don't know me. You literally are not even close to knowing me. I actually have so many sides to me that like I can't even keep up sometimes. I take pride in that. Having duality and having more sides to yourself is so magnetic. It is absolutely fascinating, and it's enigmatic, it's mysterious, and it makes people want to understand you more. If people can't figure you out at any point in time, you are unpredictable, and people like things that are not entirely predictable. And subconsciously, they actually respect things that are not entirely predictable. The main thing I wanted to touch on when it comes to duality is the shadow self. So Carl Jung, the granddaddy of analytical psychology, basically, he believed that we all have a shadow self that contains all the things that we suppress, that we don't think are okay, we think are off limits. So much so that we've pushed it into our subconscious. And he believed that in order for us to reach our full potential and to face our true selves, we have to confront our shadow self. So that is what shadow work is all about. Because until we do, we will be subconsciously controlled by the things that we are not aware about. Doing this is an amazing way to kind of tap into that duality and to become much more of a magnetic person. It's like a lot of your inner power is like a sleeping giant within you. It's like a sleeping dragon, and you need to basically go into your secret lair in your palace. I see this as like the dungeon literally in your palace, and confront those parts of you that you think are negative when actually they hold so much creative power, creativity especially. And when you are able to incorporate that into, you know, your sense of self and take the things that are negative and adjust them so that they are put towards a positively productive thing, like your goals, you become like a transformed next level version of yourself. Before we move on to the third one, I actually want to get a drink. I am pretty parched. I got this really cute Hello Kitty Ramoon soda, and I actually don't really know how to do this, but it looks cute. Okay, ready? I'm sweating. I'm literally sweating. The first time, I actually had a guy do this for me. Oh. I will clean that up in a sec. That's delicious. Look at how cute that is. Girl. All right, refreshment break is over. Now, moving on. So now that we have touched on the introspective side of things, let's now talk about, you know, how we deal with others, which I think really is where charisma lies. And when it comes to charisma, there's like the trinity. Charisma is made of three main components. And by the way, these are all learned. Studies have been done, and people used to think that charisma was this thing that was like this kind of intangible divine quality, but no, you can learn these things. I want you to think of each of these ones as dials, okay? I love to use the analogy of dials to things because then I feel like I'm in a control room just dialing things. According to the book by Olivia Fox-Caban, The Charisma Myth, they found through studies that charisma has three components: presence, power, and warmth. So presence is about your ability to fully focus and give your undivided attention to whoever you're speaking to, whether that's one person, a group of people, or a big audience. It's about making them feel seen and heard, which, remember that, okay? Seen and heard, because I have my next thing that I'm going to talk about is taking this to a whole other level, but it's about being seen and heard. Then there's power charisma, which you would think is about being like an authoritarian, but while that is kind of like a side effect to an extent, it's more about overcoming your self-imposed barriers and believing that you deserve the position that you're in. So acknowledging your success and being assertive. And then there's warmth charisma, which is your ability to have, you know, an emotional connection with others, like a deep, warm, connection with others where you make them feel understood, where you are accepting of them. It's rooted in kindness and humility and diplomacy, which is beautiful. So now that you know that charisma is made of these three components, it's all about dialing them up and down according to the situation that you're in. So it's all about not being rigid. It's about being adaptable. Because before there was a period where I had this mistake, like in order to be confident, you had to do like the power kind of a charisma. And I would kind of like overdo it and like kind of neglect the others because I thought that was like my whole personality or identity. And that's not true. It's like there's so much power. Each of these are powerful in their own right. Don't feel like you need to stick to one. It's about being able to master all three and do different combinations of them. I'm telling you. Now, the next one is major. Like, again, this is top three. This is a top three Like, I wouldn't even call this a tool. This is a magic power. This is how powerful this is. This is like a magical power. So you know how presence charisma is all about making the other person feel seen and heard, right? My version of that takes it to a whole other level, to a metaphysical level, if you will, okay? It's about making someone feel self-actualized. Let that sink in. Okay? So again, self-actualization is the realization of fulfillments of one's talents and potentialities, especially considered as a drive or need present in everyone. So this is the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the highest level of psychological development, where personal potential is fully realized after basic bodily and ego needs have been fulfilled. So everyone's goal in life is to be self-actualized and to reach their full potential. So when you make someone feel that they have already reached that, without directly telling them literally, that they have already achieved it, when you speak to them in a way as if they have already, when you make them feel subconsciously, when you give off the vibe and relate to them with respect in a way as if they feel aligned, they may not even realize why it is that they feel this way with you, but they will feel so seen and heard on such a soul level that they will feel so drawn and want to be around you. And not only that, okay, it's like a lot of the times people don't even realize their own potential. You can also see things in them that they may not see in themselves, and that is a whole other layer of power. You can really empower someone by making them feel that you see things in them that they don't even see yet. And if you're able to be that person to help bring it out in them, they will always want to be around you. And they're going to be thankful to you as well. And the way that you do this in practice is to really be present and get to know them. Listen, be a good listener, understand what's important to them, get a sense of what they would like to see themselves as, ultimately speaking, and almost kind of shortcut it for them so that whenever you talk to them, they feel like they've already gotten there. And that will be, you can see the goodness in people come out. You can see the confidence in someone come out when you facilitate that inner kind of like chemistry for them. Now, honestly, I had a bunch of others, but I feel like we're going over time. So I'm gonna do the last one, and I'll probably make like a second video of this. The last one is non-reactivity, okay? So honestly, being non-reactive is so attractive, and it shows people exactly how little power they have over you. Situations where someone is trying to get a rise out of you, or they say something that's rude, you being non-reactive will show them with the least amount of effort that they have no effect over you. When you say less and you just do not give people your energy and you conserve your energy, you come across so powerful because you're so aware of the value of your energy. It's like, so when you don't allow others to take you out of your mood, you are in full control of how you want to be. So if you decide to be happy, you'll be happy. That's another flex, not letting anybody take you out of the mood or emotion that you choose. When you have no reaction, people notice real quick and they're put in their place real quick. And they're drawn to you again. You have the charisma and you're magnetic because they want to figure out what it is about you that is so strong, that is hard to get to. They will feel enamored by your ability to control yourself. They'll also kind of subconsciously want to work harder to impress you. Now, this isn't to say, don't react to good things. Like, obviously, you should react freely to, laughter and joy in most contexts. But I'm talking about when people deliberately try to get a rise out of you, or they try to, insult you. I mean, there are other ways to respond to, somebody's insult, and that is to insult them back or to make a joke out of it and, burn them back. But I do think that as a general kind of rule, non-reactivity is kind of like, it creates a different kind of aura. It's very much more of an authority aura because you're not even entertaining on their level. You're not even giving it any energy. I think we ran out of time, but you know what? Let's just do one more. Lastly, be okay with your imperfections, okay? All those odd, quirky little things are that is the gold. That is the stuff that makes you different from everybody else. Because at the end of the day, we can sit here and put together a formula that will cover all our bases, but the only thing that will make you powerful and different from everybody else are those things that you probably think are cringe or that you are trying to hide. And those are the gems that will really make you unforgettable. So, and it also shows that you're comfortable with yourself, and there's nothing sexier than that. You know, someone who is comfortable with themselves. And if you're not yet, that's okay. Everyone's on their self-love journey, but make sure that you learn to love the quirks about yourself, because you also make other people feel comfortable about themselves. I always say that people are mirrors. You know, when people meet you, they want to see themselves in you as well, and that will instantly create a connection, and they'll be magnetized towards you because of that. Or they'll see certain qualities that they wish they had themselves, and they probably do. That's called their golden shadow. It inspires them to be more themselves as well. And the funny thing too about your uniqueness is, you know, you're not fully aware of everything that makes you unique. That's kind of part of the secret formula. If you were super, super self-aware of every single thing, I personally think that that would kind of sabotage it. It's actually kind of beautiful to be somewhat unaware of your aura or like your appeal to some extent, okay? Because then you kind of won't overthink it. So when it comes to making sure that you're kind of capitalizing on those things that you're not really aware of, just use your intuition as the tool, as the compass. Trust your intuition, and kind of like, it's more of like an energetic thing with yourself. Like, feel what feels right. And if it feels right, then that's probably where you're supposed to live, and continue to be that way, and continue to press into it. Whatever feels good and playful. Like, you want to feel playful. Like, I think a lot of people's charm comes from their inner child. Getting in touch with your inner child has so many benefits, and whenever I feel lost, I will do that, and it just makes me remember who the F I am, basically. So that concludes my my pointers for being not only charismatic and magnetic, but also regal, my definition of regal. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Love you.